are the headlines for the next 1 hour.
News 360 headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint,
Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal,
EcoBank.
The Minister for Communication, Digital Technology and Innovation, Sam George, justifies upcoming biometric SIM registration.
And also coming up tonight, Labour Minister says government will engage stakeholders to ensure resolution of issues which led to strike by Clocksack as group suspends action.
Later in the bulletin, access to safe blood remains critical as hospitals face shortages, prompting health authorities to encourage more voluntary blood donations nationwide.
In business news tonight, Ghana's economy records 6% GDP growth in 2025 as services and non-oil sectors drive expansion amid easing inflation.
On the international front, U.S. President Donald Trump criticizes NATO and other U.S. allies for not supporting the Iran war and has been saying that they are hoping that this war would end soon. We're live around the world on 3news.com. We are streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and also on Twitter. So do send us your messages on the stories we have for you tonight.
We begin from the Labour front, where the Minister for Labour, Jobs and Employment, Dr. Rashid Pelpo, has commended the Civil and Local Government Staff Association of Ghana for calling off its strike and granting government a 2-week window to address their concerns. Speaking exclusively to our Labour Affairs correspondent, Daniel Opoku, Dr. Pelpo indicated that government will immediately begin engaging key stakeholders on increasing budgetary allocation to resolve their grievances raised by Clocksack before any further industrial action is considered.
The Civil and Local Government Staff Association of Ghana, Clocksack, says its decision follows the receipt of formal communication from the government, assuring members of its commitment to resolving the outstanding issues. Executive Secretary of Clocksack, Isaac Bampoado, explained that the suspension is based on the government's assurances. He has therefore directed all members to resume work on Tuesday, March 24, 2026.
National Executive Committee (EXECO) of Civil and Local Government Staff Association Ghana, Clocksack, on 17th March 2026, reviewed the appeal by government to call off the nationwide strike action and allow government 14 days to come to an amicable resolution of the issues with the salary structure and conditions of service of members of Clocksack. EXECO therefore has suspended the nationwide strike. All members of Clocksack are to report to work by Tuesday, 24th March 2026.
The Minister for Labour, Jobs and Employment, Dr. Rashid Pelpo, praised the association for suspending the strike and allowing space for dialogue.
We hope that within 14 days, all the areas, all the people that need to be consulted, agencies that need to be consulted, would have been consulted, and we would have been able to sit down and look at the way forward.
Dr. Rashid Pelpo added that the government will immediately commence consultations with relevant stakeholders to address Clocksack's concerns.
You do a budget and consider within the financial year everything you are going to do. Now, if something comes within the space before you end the financial year, it means that there is an intrusion into an established approvals by Parliament. And so in that respect, you have to now do a lot of consultations.
In a related development, the National Labour Commission has directed Clocksack to appear before it on Wednesday, March 18, 2026. However, Executive Secretary of Clocksack, Isaac Bampoado, says the association will not honor the invitation.
To the best of our knowledge, we've not received any invitation from the National Labour Commission. Meanwhile, we ourselves, we have already sent them to court. So this is not an issue for us to discuss. The matter is in court. Right. So if they like, they can meet us in court.
Meanwhile, the president is meeting with Clocksag and other members of organized labor, so subsequently we'll update you on the outcomes of that meeting at the presidency. Let's go to the courts now. The Accra High Court has admitted into evidence the full set of bank statements from UMB Bank for former National Signals Bureau Director Kwabena Edubuahin. The statements tendered in evidence during proceedings cover the period between January 2017 and February 2025. Defense lawyers attempted to show the court Edubuahin has personally pre-financed Signal Bureau activities for which he received reimbursements. Lord Eduasare reports.
Kwabena Edubuahin and his wife, Angela Ejay Boateng, face multiple charges including stealing, causing financial loss to the state, and money laundering. The charges relate to a 49.1 million cedi cybersecurity software deal involving the national security. Lawyers for the accused, led by Samuel Atachia, during cross-examination of the prosecution's second witness, established a pattern of deposits made by the former National Signals Bureau Director to the account of the National Security Coordinator to pre-finance operations. The head of finance at the National Signals Bureau, Ruby Edith Edumwa, admitted in court that without the infusion of approximately 2.7 million cedis and 1.6 million cedis at different times into the coordinator's account, payment to Ability Computers and Software Industries of Israel would not have been possible. The witness also acknowledged that at some point, the national security was cash-strapped, with a balance of about 11,000 cedis in the National Security Coordinator's account, a situation that required Kwabena Edubuahin's intervention. Responding to a question concerning an email sent by UMB Bank to the Economic and Organized Crime Office regarding the bank statement of Kwabena Edubuahin, the witness affirmed that although the statement covered the period from January 2017 to February 2025, the Attorney General had not disclosed the entire document. Lawyer Samuel Atachia therefore urged the court to admit the full bank statement from January 2017 to February 2025 into evidence, but Principal State Attorney AC Denta Yanka objected to this submission. She argued that the document was not authored by the witness and therefore she could not speak to it. In his ruling, Justice Francis Achponga noted that the documents would be admitted as evidence since the statement had already been partially tendered without any objections. This means that the courts will be able to rely on the bank statements as evidence during the trial of the former National Signals Bureau Director. The case continues on Wednesday, March 18. Lord Eduasare, TV3 News, Accra.
And away from the courts, President Mahama's directive to double the number of people recruited into the security services annually has sparked even more debate, while the minority in Parliament say this hardly resolves the issues plaguing the recruitment process. A security analyst worries about the implications the directive may hold. Noura Mohammed has more.
After over 500,000 people applied to be recruited into security agencies such as the Ghana National Fire Service, the Ghana Police Service, the Ghana Immigration Service, and the Ghana Prison Service, the huge number has reignited conversations about the high levels of unemployment in the country. The Interior Ministry, upon screening and vetting applicants, announced that although 105,000 applicants had qualified for medical screening, only 5,000 would eventually be enlisted this year due to fiscal constraints. Meanwhile, after multiple calls for government to review the acceptance rate, President Mahama directed the Interior Ministry to increase the number from 5,000 to 10,000 to meet a target of 40,000 new recruits over 4 years. However, some say this move may be a politically motivated maneuver to deflect criticism rather than a sustainable policy to address unemployment. A security analyst, Richard Kumado, weighs in.
It's not all National Security Council institutions or what you call national law enforcement agencies or security agencies that falls directly under the purview of the Ministry of Interior. Ministry of Interior has taken a centralized position on this matter and has occupied position they do not have jurisdiction over. So even though recruitment is a policy issue, the how to do it is an operational issue. And they should have allowed the agencies under them, the police, immigration, fire, and prison, to do the recruitment themselves.
He also said the president's directive was strategic, albeit political.
So, yeah, the president was strategic. He was political. He's a leader who listens to the cry of the people. And he want to take 40,000 young people out of the street in the form of employment. You can applaud him for that. But you do not have the numbers. That is the truth. You need more numbers than just 40,000 for these four agencies.
The minority leader in Parliament, Alexander Afenyo-Markin, says the increment does not resolve the fundamental issue of unemployment.
We've seen a statement issued by the Minister for Government Communication talking about an increase in the number from 5,000 to 10,000 every year. Mr. Speaker, that does not address the core concerns. We don't want this to be treated the way they treated the cocoa haircut, where the finance minister announced a haircut at his ministry. The people's representatives must be properly briefed, especially when this recruitment has to do with our own constituents.
Many questions about fiscal implications of the expanded recruitment still linger. Nura Mohammed, TV3 News, Accra.
Let's give you an update on the unfortunate development from yesterday. Now, the Tema Metropolitan Daycare Center has been closed down until further notice following the Sky Arrow microlight aircraft crash that killed 2 people. Meanwhile, forensic investigators from the Aircraft Accident and Incident Investigation and Prevention Bureau have conveyed the debris from the scene for further investigation. George Quinning was there and reports.
Muniru and his colleagues have been asked to stay home for now following the microlight aircraft crash. It is not yet certain when he will resume school. He is traumatized. His mother, Hannah Adusu, tells me he refuses to eat.
Yesterday, he didn't eat. Even this morning, the oats I prepared for him, he didn't eat much. We don't know when they will be called back to school.
The lives of more than 100 pupils, aged between 3 and 5, were at risk when the Sky Arrow microlight aircraft crashed on March 16 at 2:50 p.m.
I don't know the time that we are coming, probably a week or 2, or unless any information comes.
But do you think it's good that people have to go home?
Yes, because of what's actually happened. Some of the kids are traumatized and it's not good for even the teachers. It's not easy for us.
24 hours later, investigators arrived at the scene to collect the debris. Personal items of victims, including mobile phones, handkerchiefs, keys and 5 Ghana cedis were retrieved. According to the Commissioner of AIB Ghana, John M.K. Wumboti, the aircraft has no black box, and he was quick to add that standard procedures will be followed in this investigation.
The debris of the Sky Arrow microlight helicopter has been collected by investigators. This marks a major step in the commencement of the investigation, awaiting a final report.
We've collected the wreckage. We are sending them to the Ghana Air Force. They have a hangar. That is where we are sending them to for protection and for our investigations. And so we will come out and let the public know who were the victims and who are their families. We have clearly protocols that we have to follow. There's no investigation that is the same. Investigations are different. Every incident is different from the other one. But we have a general rule, and so that is what we are going to use.
Residents used the opportunity to get close to the scene after security left once the debris had been collected.
As it stands now, we cannot confirm when the Tema Metropolitan Daycare Center will reopen. It has a school population of more than 100 pupils, but the headmistress has confirmed that some psychological sessions will be activated for parents and pupils. George Quinning, TV3 News, Tema.
In more news tonight, access to safe blood remains one of the most critical needs in hospitals across Ghana. From emergency surgeries to childbirth complications, doctors rely on a steady supply of blood to save lives. Yet, health authorities say voluntary blood donation remains lower than what the country requires. Christabel Success Trevor explores the challenges surrounding blood donation in Ghana and why more people are being encouraged to step forward.
Every day in hospitals across Ghana, Doctors ask for something that cannot be manufactured in a laboratory: blood. For accident victims, mothers experiencing complications during childbirth, and patients undergoing surgery, access to safe blood can mean the difference between life and death. But while the demand for blood continues to grow, the country still struggles to collect enough blood from voluntary donors. Yet, blood banks often rely on family members and emergency donors when supplies run low. The challenge is not just about demand, it is also about participation. Despite years of campaigns encouraging voluntary blood donation, many Ghanaians still hesitate to donate.
I have not tried before, not because I fear or whatever, nothing.
But some of the misconception as a nurse is the fact that some people really don't even believe in the fact that they should even receive blood. Looking at from the religious perspective, we have some religious group that don't believe that their patients should be given blood. And that is very difficult as a nurse, because there are some circumstances that realize that a patient is in a very dying situation, and the only thing that can usually salvage the situation is to donate.
I've heard that some people, when they are scared of donating blood because they are scared. So me too, I feel like I'm not interested in doing that. Some say that they use it for money rituals, so I've never donated.
For those who donate, the process is carefully managed. Before blood is accepted, donors go through health checks to ensure they are fit to donate. Once collected, the blood begins a critical journey. At blood service centers, samples are tested to ensure they are safe and free from infections.
Before even the blood is donated, you have to go through some process to prove that you have enough blood and to spare before they can even take the blood. I remember one time a guy just went to the blood service as a voluntary donor to come and donate. And when they took him to the process, they saw that even he himself needed blood.
Doctors say timely access to blood remains one of the most important resources in emergency care.
Unfortunately, people like to rely on myths, misconceptions, and half-truths about voluntary blood donation. People think that blood must be bought, or blood must be sold, or blood is being sold and therefore may not be willing to give.
2003, I went to have my last son. And unfortunately, I developed a condition they call DIC, where the amniotic fluid entered my bloodstream, acted as an anticoagulant, and so I was just pouring out. So I eventually bled till I was declared clinically dead. However, by God's grace, and also because they had plasma, which is a blood product, it was a private institution, they didn't have blood, but they transfused that. And also, we managed to get 2 pints with a lot of difficulty from another institution, maybe 37, another 2 pints from Tema General Hospital. By God's grace, somehow I survived.
For repeat donors, the motivation is simple.
Oh, this is my 50th times. 50, yes. And anytime I donate blood, I feel more refreshed, more energetic. The motive is to, see my colleague also live a healthy life.
I have donated 73 times so far. My personal motivation is that if a person should need blood, he should not die because of lack of blood. So I plan making my blood available every time at the blood service.
Health authorities say increasing voluntary blood donation remains the most reliable way to ensure hospitals always have the supply they need. Because somewhere in an emergency ward, a patient is waiting not for medicine but for blood, which can determine whether that life is saved or lost. So ensure you become a part of the voluntary blood donation group across Ghana to help save lives. Christabel Success Trevor, TV3 News, Accra.
Let's take you to one of our headline stories we have for you this evening. And the Minister for Communications, Digital Technology and Innovations, Sam George, has justified Ghana's renewed push for biometric SIM registration, warning against the risk of transferring compromised data into a new system.
Ghana is set for another SIM registration exercise after the Communications Minister, Sam George, noted that the current data is not fit for purpose. Ghanaians have undergone SIM registration exercises over the course of the Fourth Republic, the most recent being the Ghana card-linked registration under the erstwhile Akufo-Addo administration. But according to the Minister for Communication, Digital Technology and Innovation, the current data includes entries that were fraudulently acquired, prompting the decision to migrate the existing data.
The critical thing I complained about, for which reason I said the registration in 2021 to 2023 should not have happened, was the lack of biometric verification. The lack of things that we are doing today, the use of OTPs, ensuring that SIMs for foreigners are churned after 90 days. So basically what I am doing today is walking the talk that we spoke in opposition. So we're looking to fix all of those problems, and I believe strongly in my heart that this is going to be the very final SIM registration exercise that we are doing.
The new biometric SIM registration exercise, the minister argued, has been designed to, among other things, help reduce mobile money fraud.
If you're using a SIM card today that is acquired fraudulently using somebody's Ghana card, don't forget that now when that person uses his Ghana card to do his own registration, he will set his primary number. So if you try to register that same, because maybe you have a copy or a photograph and you try to enter the details, when you try to do the liveliness test, the system will flag it. Because we will be able to block every SIM card that was not registered by the real owner of the Ghana card will not be able to go through this process. And that's why we're refusing to do a wholesale transfer of what has been already registered.
Director General of the National Communications Authority, Reverend Engineer Edmond Irenchi Fianku, told journalists that an audit of the 2021-2023 registration data revealed no fingerprint matches when cross-checked with the NIA data.
So this is a very small sample that we tested. And so about 81% had a facial match. And by the next slide, when it came to the fingerprint, it was 0. Fundamentally, the NIA fingerprints were taken with contact, whereas what we did with the SIM, with the mobile registration the last time, was contactless. And fundamentally, it would create a challenge as far as matching the two fingerprints are concerned.
The Vice President, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, has renewed calls for Ghanaians to embrace agriculture as a pathway to national development and self-reliance. During a working visit to the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, she said Ghana has no excuse to depend on food imports despite its favorable climate.
The Minister for Food and Agriculture, Eric Opoku, first announced major gains in the sector to the Vice President and the team. He said the food buffer stock recorded a 91 million Ghana cedis profit in 2005, with warehouses across the country now fully stocked. Eric Opoku said government is targeting a 6-month national food reserve to respond to emergencies. The Agric Minister also highlighted progress under the Feed Ghana program and the Nkoko Nketenkete Poultry Initiative aimed at reducing the country's heavy reliance on imported poultry.
And we are also providing 250 solar-powered boreholes for the farmers, especially the women and the youth, to go into tomato and pepper, onion, and then vegetable production. We have put the women into clusters. We have secured the land. And then we are now drilling the boreholes for them to be in production all year round. It is our hope that if we are able to execute this, we'll bring an end to the importation of tomatoes from Burkina Faso.
Vice President Professor Nana Jane Opoku Ajiman commended farmers, women, churches and research institutions such as the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research for supporting food production and urged stronger collaboration to boost output.
We have no excuse not to grow our food, not to rear our birds, not to satisfy our fundamental need. So I want to commend you for everything that you are doing to ensure that you can become truly independent. You are not independent when you live in a place where you can grow your food and you are importing food. That should be a thing of the past.
At the presidency, the Vice President visited the Office of Government's Communication, where she called for innovation in public information delivery and urged staff to adopt to digital trends.
Sometimes we get too comfortable where we are, and then we lose sight of the changes around us. We should be very alert to them and find ways in which it's not about fighting people, but it's about collaborating, and it's about trying to put yourself above the curve. How do I do that? We all know that information is never innocent. Insofar as it is based on selection of material, definitely it implies that some of the material has been left out. So what has been left out and how do you come in?
Government spokesperson Felix Kwachi Ofosu on his part disclosed that reforms have reduced staff strength in the communication sector from 104 to just 18 to improve efficiency. Felix Kwachi Ofosu also announced that President Mahama will begin a nationwide Resetting Ghana tour starting from the Bono region.
It's a nationwide activity where he will lead a number of ministers to join regional ministers and local government officials, DCs and other officials to engage the people in the regions, tour various project sites.
He also revealed that his outfit through the Government Accountability Series would give an update on the Women Development Bank. The Vice President's visits form part of efforts to assess performance across ministries and strengthen government delivery.
The Ghana Exim-Import Bank, in collaboration with the Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, has launched the Maiden Ghana Agro-Tech Fair 2026. The national event is designed to highlight the role of technology and innovation in transforming agriculture.
The fair focused on showcasing locally manufactured equipment and homegrown technological solutions to promote industrialization and export development. It showcased innovative technologies aimed at boosting productivity and transforming agricultural systems. President Mahama highlighted the importance of treating agriculture as a strategic pillar of economic growth.
This fair aligns closely with the priorities of my government's Feed Ghana program and the broader Agriculture for Economic Transformation agenda. Agriculture must no longer be treated solely as a subsistence sector, but as a strategic pillar of national economic growth, industrial expansion, and export development.
The Minister of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, Elizabeth Ofosu-Jare, emphasized the need for innovation and technology to drive the agribusiness sector policy. CEO of Ghana Exim Bank, Sylvester Edinam Mensah, urged stakeholders in the agricultural value chain and the general public to take part in the Agri-Tech Fair.
This fair is both a showcase and a catalyst for transformation. At Ghana Exim Bank, we remain committed to support this transformation.
Some exhibitors shared their experience.
We are displaying the DJI Agras T100. So it carries as much as 100 liters of liquid, being it insecticide, whatever chemicals you mix, 100 liters it will carry and then spray as in how you want it.
A system called an aquaponics system, where we have fish in a tank and then we have plants overhead the fish. So that you feed the fish and then the fish will in turn feed your plants.
The Ghana Exim Bank Agri-Tech Fair 2026 will end on March 19.
This is News 360 on TV3. We are live from our studio here at Desanwe Kanda in Accra. Business, sports and entertainment are coming right up. Do stay with us.
It's time to explore Ghana again. From 19th to 22nd March, join the Ghana Month Expedition. 3 regions, 4 days. Eastern, Ashanti, Central. We kick it off in Eastern region. Chocolate experiences, fresh farm fruits, Safari Valley lunch with zebras and exotic animals, Bonsu Eco Park for canopy walks and ziplining, and then party at the Rock City Hotel. Ashanti takes over. Bonre Kente Museum, Kumasi Museum, Komfornochi Source Site, Lake Bosomtri for hiking adventures and sleepover at Rich Condos. Central brings the history at Singmanso, Cape Coast Castle, plus lunch by the coast. Then a Crown Resort vacation, quad biking, horse riding, water adventures. All this for 6,500 Ghana cedis single, 5,500 Ghana cedis shared rooms, and 10,500 Ghana cedis couple. You're interested, right? Call now 0531 100927 or 0247 120 633. Ghana Month Expedition, 19th to 22nd March. Don't just watch Ghana, experience it. It's time to explore Ghana again. From 19th to 22nd March, join the Ghana Month Expedition. 3 regions, 4 days. Eastern, Ashanti, Central. We kick it off in Eastern region. Chocolate experiences, fresh farm fruits, Safari Valley lunch with zebras and exotic animals, Bonsu Eco Park for canopy walks and ziplining, and then party at the Rock City Hotel. Ashanti takes over. Bonre Kente Museum, Kumasi Museum, Komfornochi Source Site, Lake Bosomtri for hiking adventures and sleepover at Rich Condos. Central brings the history at Singmanso, Cape Coast Castle, plus lunch by the coast. Then a Crown Resort vacation, quad biking, horse riding, water adventures. All this for 6,500 Ghana cedis single, 5,500 Ghana cedis shared rooms, and 10,500 Ghana cedis couple. You're interested, right? Call now 0531 100927 or 0247 120 633. Ghana Month Expedition, 19th to 22nd March. Don't just watch Ghana, experience it. It's time to explore Ghana again. From 19th to 22nd March, join the Ghana Month Expedition. 3 regions, 4 days. Eastern, Ashanti, Central. We kick it off in Eastern region. Chocolate experiences, fresh farm fruits, Safari Valley lunch with zebras and exotic animals, Bonsu Eco Park for canopy walks and ziplining, and then party at the Rock City Hotel. Ashanti takes over. Bonre Kente Museum, Kumasi Museum, Komfornochi Source Site, Lake Bosomtri for hiking adventures and sleepover at Rich Condos. Central brings the history at Singmanso, Cape Coast Castle, plus lunch by the coast. Then a Crown Resort vacation, quad biking, horse riding, water adventures. All this for 6,500 Ghana cedis single, 5,500 Ghana cedis shared rooms, and 10,500 Ghana cedis couple. You're interested, right? Call now 0531 100927 or 0247 120 633. Ghana Month Expedition, 19th to 22nd March. Don't just watch Ghana, experience it. It's time to explore Ghana again. From 19th to 22nd March, join the Ghana Month Expedition. 3 regions, 4 days. Eastern, Ashanti, Central. We kick it off in Eastern region. Chocolate experiences, fresh farm fruits, Safari Valley lunch with zebras and exotic animals, Bonsu Eco Park for canopy walks and ziplining, and then party at the Rock City Hotel. Ashanti takes over. Bonre Kente Museum, Kumasi Museum, Komfornochi Source Site, Lake Bosomtri for hiking adventures and sleepover at Rich condos. Central brings the history. Asing Manso, Cape Coast Castle, plus lunch by the coast. Then a Crown Resort vacation, quad biking, horse riding, water adventures. All this for 6,500 Ghana Cedi single, 5,500 Ghana Cedi shared rooms, and 10,500 Ghana Cedis couple. You're interested, right? Call now 0531 100927 or 0247 120 633. Ghana Month Expedition, 19th to 22nd March. Don't just watch Ghana, experience it. It's time to explore Ghana again. From 19th to 22nd March, join the Ghana Month Expedition. 3 regions, 4 days. Eastern, Ashanti, Central. We kick it off in the Eastern region. Chocolate experiences, fresh farm fruits, Safari Valley lunch with zebras and exotic animals, Bonsu Eco Park for canopy walks and ziplining, and then party at the Rock City Hotel. Ashanti takes over. Bonre Kente Museum, Kumasi Museum.
Now, the consensus among market watchers is that the Bank of Ghana will adopt a cautious approach amid the escalating tensions in the Middle East that have already begun to push global crude prices upward above $100 per barrel.
Macroeconomic indicators have trended favorably in early 2026, creating a strong argument for a dovish move. Headline inflation dropped to a multi-decade low of 3.3% in February. The cedi has remained resilient, providing a stable environment for businesses. Commercial banks have begun to lower borrowing costs, signaling improved liquidity. The domestic environment screams for a rate cut to support the real sector. The risk of imported inflation from the Middle East may force the MPC to maintain the status quo. Finance and tax analyst Nelson Kujo Kwagbeji projects rate cuts by 100 to 200 basis points.
We expect the Bank of Ghana to be cautious and very prudent. And so at the end of the policy meeting, we expect the Bank of Ghana to cut down on the rate moderately by some 100 to 200 basis points to about 13.5%. And once this is done, we expect, Ghana reference rate, which is currently at 11.74%, to go down.
Financial economist Dr. Eric Bwachi-Yadom wants the policy rates to mirror Treasury bill rates.
At best, I think what they may do is either maintain it at the 15.5 or reduce it by 100 basis points. But based on where inflation is and based on where Treasury bill rates, realistically, we should be doing a single-digit policy rate.
The committee's decision expected this weekend will signal whether the bank believes Ghana's macroeconomic buffers are strong enough to withstand a global energy shock.
Recent macroeconomic developments suggest that Ghana has a favorable economic outlook supported by the prudent fiscal management and the disinflationary trend that we have witnessed since the beginning of last year till now. However, emerging geopolitical tension in the Middle East pose key risk to the sustenance, of these gains that we have made.
Now, the economy grew by 6% in 2025, with stronger momentum recorded towards the end of the year. According to new data from the Ghana Statistical Service, non-oil sectors, particularly services, continue to drive the expansion.
Provisional data released by the Ghana Statistical Service shows that growth picked up in the final quarter of the year, rising to 5.8% from 4% in the same period of 2024. In nominal terms, the size of the economy expanded to over 1.43 trillion cedis, while real GDP increased to about 209.6 billion cedis, up from 197.9 billion cedis the previous year. The data highlights a continued shift away from oil dependency, with non-oil activities emerging as the primary driver of growth. The services sector remained dominant, contributing more than half of total GDP growth, with strong performances recorded in information and communication, transport and storage, education and financial services. Agriculture also showed signs of recovery, growing by more than 5% in the fourth quarter, driven mainly by crop production, while cocoa output rebounded after a decline in 2024. However, growth in the industrial sector remained modest, weighed down by reduced oil and gas production, although gains in manufacturing and electricity provided some support. According to the Ghana Statistical Service, a few key sectors, including services, crops, gold, manufacturing and transport, accounted for nearly 87% of total growth. The report also points to moderating inflationary pressures as reflected in lower GDP deflator growth. Overall, the data signals a steadily diversifying economy with improving growth momentum in 2026.
And that'll be all for the business segment here on News 360. I am Michael Obodu. We'll bring you updates now from the currency and the commodities market.
Sports segment is brought to you by Sasso Insecticide Spray and Coil.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the sports segment here on News 360 with me, Oreku Ampofo. The Ghana Football Association has set its sights on a historic performance in the final of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Its communications director has said Henry Asante Chum made this revelation on Sports Station on TV3 early on Monday.
If it is that he must leave immediately after the final, when we qualify for the final and we play in the final.
You say when?
When, yes.
Okay.
You wanted me to say if. No, I won't use if. It's our dream to make it all the way to the final. We want to qualify from the group, move to the next stage, qualify to the quarters, move to the semis, and then make it to the final. When we make it to the final and the women's AFCON is fast approaching, we will make a decision. At this point, we believe that he has something to contribute to the Black Stars. The decision to add him was to bring expertise, experience, and also to add his, skill, an area of, expertise to whatever Otto is doing, whatever Alain is doing, whatever Desmond Ofer is doing, whatever John and Co are all adding to the team. So we believe that his presence will be very, very useful to the cause of the team. And once we finish the World Cup, he will immediately move to join the Queens.
Still on the World Cup, the FIFA Disciplinary Committee has officially rejected the Nigerian Football Federation's petition regarding the alleged use of ineligible players by DR Congo during the 2026 that's the World Cup African Playoff Final. The NFF has confirmed it will appeal the decision and is prepared to escalate the matter to the Court of Arbitration for Sport if necessary. Nigeria alleged that DR Congo fielded up to 6 players, including high-profile names like Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Axel Tuanzebe, who were ineligible due to improper nationality switches or citizen status under Congolese law. Nigeria lost the playoff final 4-3 on penalties after a 1-1 draw in November 2025, which initially ended their 2026 World Cup qualification hopes. Oh, there's a lot to look forward to in the Champions League later tonight. In fact, currently, Sporting CP are leading Bodo Glimt by 3-0 and have overturned that 3-goal deficit. And so they are heading to extra time. However, other teams like Manchester City and Chelsea will be hoping to replicate such comebacks against Real Madrid and Paris Saint-Germain, respectively. Let's cross over now to Elizabeth Seyhall in the University of Ghana.
Here to watch the Champions League game, especially between Manchester City and Real Madrid. Remember, in the first leg, Real Madrid were dominant with Federico Valverde scoring a hat-trick to seal that 3-0 victory, and City have a mountain to climb, especially with Kylian Mbappe back in the side and on the bench after recovering from his injury. I'm going to talk to a few students to gauge their mood and to find out what they think, which team they tip to win in that game between Real Madrid and Manchester City, and maybe they could talk about a PSG and a Chelsea. I'm going to first talk to this gentleman over here. Chairman, what's your name?
I'm Mufasa.
Mufasa. You be Real Madrid fan or you be Man City fan for tonight?
I'll be Man City fan for tonight.
Man City fan. What do you think the scoreline is going to be?
Oh, Man City is qualifying. Maybe we can take the game to extra time if possible, but I see Man City winning the game and qualifying from this stage.
But the last time Real Madrid won on penalties.
Yeah, but it was previous year, and this year is a different thing altogether. And with this year, the first leg should have been a different game, but because of one mistake the coach did, he didn't get this right, and that made Madrid had a 3-goal victory against us. And we are hoping for a change today, and for sure we want him to do some tactical changes and bring in some midfielders which we can qualify or win the game.
Right, Mufasa, nice to have you. Manchester City fan. I have a Real Madrid fan over here. Chairman, what's your name? Derek. Charlie, your guys won 3-0 at home. Do you think they can hold Manchester City at the Etihad?
Yeah, for real.
For real?
Yeah, they're qualifying tonight.
Do you think your team will score or City will score some?
Oh, no. City might win the game, but will qualify.
City might win, but will qualify. So who will score for Real Madrid?
Oh, we have players like Valverde again. Valverde and Vini tonight.
Valverde and Vini, indeed. Okay, so we'll see what happens. And I also have another Real Madrid fan here. Chairman, what's your name?
Vincent.
Vincent. Are you confident that Real Madrid will qualify from this one?
Sure. 100%. Yes.
What do you think the scoreline will be?
I think I have 2 score predictions. It's either going to be a 2-2 draw or we win 3-2.
Hey, Real Madrid winning 3-2 at the Etihad. So who scored the goals then?
Vini, Valverde, and then a header from Rudiger.
Very interesting. Of course, some Real Madrid fans confident that they will get the result against the Manchester City. There's also, of course, PSG will be facing Chelsea at the Stamford Bridge, and Arsenal will be hosting Bayer Leverkusen. But for the next 2 hours, we'll be stationed here at the Elizabeth Francese Hall to give you more updates as to the reactions with regards to the UEFA Champions League.
Thank you very much, Billy Shan, and you can get updates of all of these games and more on 3 Sports GH on social media. My name is Oreku Ampufo.
Well, good evening and welcome to the entertainment news segment here on News 360. My name is Noella Donko. Now, aimed at highlighting Ghana's rich culinary heritage, the Ghana Tourism Authority successfully hosted Taste 69 at 69 as part of Ghana Culture Week. Now, the authority's chief executive officer says Ghana cuisine remains a powerful expression of the country's cultural identity and has the potential to drive economic growth.
This year's celebration turned the forecourt of the National Theatre of Ghana into a vibrant cultural village filled with the rich taste of aromas of Ghanaian cuisine.
And then Gary photo. Fantastic. Fantastic. And then
Chefs and traditional caterers showcased a variety of local delicacies, bringing the sight, sounds and flavors of Ghana to life.
Food is for tasting, not for eating to me. We want to taste all the 69 dishes. These 69 dishes were derived from our 16 regions in Ghana. Every region has its indigenous cuisine and the way they present their food.
The event aimed to celebrate Ghana's culinary heritage while promoting food tourism as a key part of the country's tourism growth. The Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Tourism Authority says Ghanaian food remains a powerful expression of the country's cultural identity and has huge potential to boost economic growth.
Is that food is an integral part of our culture.
She also encouraged restaurants, chefs and caterers to prioritize local dishes on their menus to help preserve Ghana's rich culinary traditions.
I'm asking all our restaurants and hotels to make it a point to always showcase Ghanaian dishes. Always make sure that you are ambassadors. You, the restaurant proprietors and our hotels, you should be our ambassadors when it comes to food. Display our meals, because when we go to other countries, they display their meals. They don't display our meals. So it is time for us to campaign that almost every restaurant should display Ghanaian meals.
And rightly so. Now to some more stories. Renowned Ghanaian dancehall star Shatta Wale is set to take his popular Shatta Fest to the United Kingdom later this year. In a post shared on his Facebook page on Monday, March 16, the musician announced that Shatta Fest UK 2026 will be held in collaboration with the well-known diaspora event Ghana Party in the Park. According to the artist, the event promises a full day of music, dance, culture and high-energy performances from Shatta Movement Camp. The festival is scheduled to take place on August 4 from 12 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Copthall Playing Fields. And that's it for the entertainment news segment here on News 360. My name is Noella Donko.
And thank you so much, Noella. Coming up in international news.
U.S. President Donald Trump has criticized NATO and other U.S. allies, saying he has been told they don't want to get involved in the Iran war. Earlier, a top counter-terrorism official, Joe Kent, resigned over the ongoing conflict, saying Iran posed no immense threat to our nation. Meanwhile, Israel's defense minister says its military has killed Iran's security chief, Ali Larijani, in a strike. Larijani was last seen in public at a car stay march in Tehran on Friday. Also killed in Israeli strike is the head of the paramilitary Basij force, Ghulam Reza Soleimani, which killed thousands of civilians in anti-government protests earlier this year. The Belgian court has ruled that a former diplomat can stand trial in connection with the killing in 1996 of Patrice Lumumba, Congo's first prime minister. Etienne Davignon, now 93, is accused of involvement in the unlawful detention and transfer of Lumumba and his degrading treatment. Davignon was a trainee diplomat at the time and went on to become a vice president of the European Commission. He is the only surviving member of the 10 Belgians accused in a criminal case brought by Lumumba's family in 2011.
Thank you so much for watching News 360. It was live from our studio here at Adisanwe Kanda in Accra. My name is Martin Asiedu Date.
And I am Portia Gabo. Do join Beatrice Edu at 9 p.m. for Agenda. And at 10 p.m. there's Ghana Tonight with Alfred Okansi. Good evening.
News360.